Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Rajana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Rajana Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Jaya Gopija Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopija Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopija Vallabha Giridhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Chari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Jai Vishwam Sabharajai. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishwam Sabharajai. Stote Srisima Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Anantakoti Vaishnava ki ISCKON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Chakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Saraswati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Sri Radha Krishna Gopina Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Dham ki Navadvip Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Yamuna Mai ki Tulasi Devi ki Bhakti Devi ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki Go Premanandi. All glories to Samala. All glories to Samala. All glories to Samudra. All glories to Sisi Guru Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 25, The Characteristics of King Paranjana, Text 55. Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Sayarhyata Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvitaha.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harasham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jayatma Jodbhavan.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Sayaranta Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvitaha.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harasham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jayatma Jodbhavan.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jagat Majodbhavam.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Vaishnavis.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvitaha.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jagat Majodbhavam.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Moham Prasadam Harsham Va.
Yati Jagat Majodbhavam.
Yati Jayat Majodbhavam. Sayarhyanta Puragato.
Vishuchina Samanvita.
Vishuchina Samanvita. Moham Prasadam Harsham Va. Yati Jayat Majodbhavam.
Sa.
Sa.
He. Antapura,
Antapura,
to his private home.
to his private home.
Gata,
Gata,
used to go.
used to go.
Vishujina,
Vishujina,
by the mind.
by the mind.
Samanvita,
Samanvita,
accompanied.
accompanied.
Moham,
Moha,
illusion.
illusion.
Prasadam,
Prasadam,
satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Harsham,
Harsham,
happiness.
happiness.
Ma,
Ma,
or.
or.
Yati,
Yati,
used to enjoy.
used to enjoy.
Jaya,
Jaya,
life.
life.
Atmaja,
Atmaja,
children.
children.
Udbhavam,
Udbhavam,
produced by them.
produced by them.
Translation. Sometimes he used to go to his private home with one of his chief servants, the mind, who was named Vishujina. At that time, illusion, satisfaction, and happiness used to be produced from his wife and children. Purport. According to the Vedic conclusion, oneself is situated within the heart. As stated in Vedic language, Hridayam Atma Pratishtha. The self is situated within the heart. In the material condition, however, the spirit soul is covered by the material qualities, namely goodness, passion, and darkness. And within the heart, these three qualities react. For instance, when one is in goodness, he feels happiness. When one is in passion, he feels satisfaction through material enjoyment. And when one is in darkness, he feels bewilderment. All these activities are of the mind, and they function on the platform of thinking, feeling, and willing. When a living entity is encircled by wife, children, and home, he acts on the mental plane. Sometimes he's very happy. Sometimes he's very much satisfied. Sometimes he's not satisfied, and sometimes he is bewildered. Bewilderment is called moha, illusion. Illusion by society, friendship, and love. The living entity thinks that his so-called society, friendship and love, nationality, community, etc., will give him protection. He does not know that after death, he'll be thrown into the hands of a very strong material nature that will force him to accept a certain type of body according to his present work. This body may not even be a human body. Thus, the living entity's feeling of security in this life, in the midst of society, wife, and friendship, is nothing but illusion. All living entities, encaged in various material bodies, are illusioned by the present activities of material enjoyment. They forget their real business, which is to go back home, back to Godhead. Everyone who is not in Krishna consciousness must be considered to be in illusion. One's so-called feelings of happiness and satisfaction resulting from material things are also illusions. Factually, neither society, friendship, love, nor anything else can save one from the onslaught of the external energy, which is symptomized by birth, death, old age, and disease. To get even one living entity out of the illusory condition is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This divine energy, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Therefore, unless one surrenders completely at the lotus feet of Krishna, he cannot get out of the entanglement of the three modes of material nature. Translation again. Sometimes he used to go to his private home with one of his chief servants, the mind, who was named Vishujina. At that time, illusion, satisfaction, and happiness used to be produced from his wife and children. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are beginning another day of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda's mercy. Congratulations. Of course, we want to dive deeper into that mercy. We don't want to be lackadaisical or lazy. We want to take the initiative, be opportunistic. As we explained a few days ago, a bhakti yogi is the topmost opportunist. We know how to seize opportunities. What are the opportunities that we grab? Opportunities for service, opportunities for hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna. We're very avaricious, we're very greedy for such opportunities. We're not idle religious believers or armchair theologians. We are dynamic and active in pursuing Krishna's glories and Krishna's satisfaction. So that's what makes us lively. Otherwise, we're like dead persons. We're ambitious. In the material world, to be ambitious leads to frustration. But in spiritual life, to be ambitious to please Krishna is wanted. We want to be dynamic. We want to be opportunistic in pleasing Krishna's senses. Therefore, we look forward to each day as an opportunity to improve our service, to improve our chanting, to improve our japa. How can I put myself more into my chanting? How can I beg Krishna to allow me to enter deeper into the chanting? Enter deeper into the mystery of devotional service. Devotional service is a mystery. In that, you'll never understand the depths of it. You'll never get to the depths of it. It's unlimited because Krishna's internal potency is unlimited. And devotional service is indeed his own internal potency. As Bhagavad Gita says, Mahatmanas tumam parta daivim prakritim ashrita bhajantya nanya manaso gyatra bhutarva. Those who are truly great souls, the Mahatmas, know how to take shelter of the divine energy, Krishna's internal potency. They understand Krishna's inexhaustible. Therefore, they have complete confidence that Krishna can satisfy them. Remember the other day we were talking about our lack of confidence in Krishna leads us to take shelter of material energy and trying to enjoy it. Because we think, subconsciously or consciously, we think, how can Krishna satisfy me completely? How can Krishna be the complete source of my fulfillment? And why do we have those misunderstandings about Krishna? Or lack of confidence in Krishna? We have that because we subconsciously think Krishna is a product of material nature, or Krishna is a concept. Or we think Krishna is some kind of cosmic principle. You know about the first time I tried to read Bhagavad Gita. I was in touch with a typical scholarly presentation of Bhagavad Gita. And so I was reading the commentary by the academic. He had the verses in the front and his own commentary in the back. So I was just, 20 years old or so, seeking the deepest knowledge. So I looked at his commentary and I was shocked at what I saw, even though I didn't understand why I was shocked. He wrote, Krishna is a concept meant to satisfy both the intellectuals and the sentimentalists. I'm sure he thought he was making a brilliant statement. But even though I was deeply absorbed in ignorance, something within me told me, trash this book. So I just took the book and after I read that sentence, I took the book and I just threw it against the wall. So, we may still suffer from such a diseased perception. That Krishna's a concept, Krishna's a principle. After all, how can the source of everything be a person? Yes, Krishna is personhood, he's a person, but he is an unlimited person. And because we can't conceive of that, we automatically assume Krishna must be mythology, or Krishna must be the representation of something behind him and greater than him that's impersonal. We have all these crazy ideas. The product of our fertile imagination. So if you want to understand Krishna, you have to hear from Krishna. Why are we so averse to that? Why are we so averse to accepting Krishna's explanations about himself? Just like the past few days I've been talking to so many of you. And I've been hearing about you and your efforts in devotional service. But suppose while you're explaining yourself to me, I just cut you off and say, no, but what you really mean is, how would you like that? You tell me something, and then I just comment in completely the opposite way. What you really mean is, and I say something completely opposite. You would feel very discouraged. Get this Swami out of here. But we do this to Krishna. He explains himself. But do we really accept it? I remember once Srila Prabhupada commenting out loud and said, I wonder how many of my disciples actually accept Krishna as a supreme personality of God. In other words, are they just being religious or metaphysical? Are they just seeking relief from material existence and that's it? Or do they actually understand Krishna as unlimitedly attractive and the reservoir of all pleasure? So this is the challenge that we present to you. How are you going to get confidence that Krishna can satisfy you? You want satisfaction, you want pleasure. How will you have the knowledge that pushes you to focus completely on Krishna? Now, is that sectarian that we say Krishna? You might think, well, in the overall spectrum, the overall range of spirituality, there is Krishna. He's one part of the whole spectrum of spirituality. But that's not understanding Krishna in truth. That's a sectarian conception. But in other words, people think they're being broad-minded. Oh, there's Krishna, there's this, there's that. It's spiritual. Be spiritual in your own way. And there's a lot of spiritual stuff out there, you know. There's this, there's that, there's Krishna too. But that is not non-sectarian, that is sectarian. That's a view of particular sectarian mentality. So you have to decide what position you're going to take. Because no matter what position you take, it's particularized, it's specific. So what gives you the right to say that the Krishna focus is sectarian? That's your opinion, that's your sectarian viewpoint. So if we're going to have to take a particular viewpoint, if we're going to have to take a particular standpoint, why not take Krishna's? Because Krishna presents himself as the sum total of everything. So if you're going to surrender to a particular point of view, why not surrender to the point of view of the unlimited? But you have to accept a particular point of view. Just like I was speaking with Toby yesterday. He was telling me, it comes basically from atheist background. I said, oh, congratulations, you were very religious. Because atheism is a faith. There's no proof. At least you could be agnostic, that I don't know. But atheism means determined that there is no ultimate controller, nothing spiritual. And you must have complete faith in matter. That matter can do the inconceivable. Matter is a chitcha, inconceivable. It appears out of nowhere. And it gives rise to life and consciousness. And of course there's absolutely zero proof or evidence of that. So you have a religious faith. You become a true believer in matter. So I was explaining to him how materialistic thinkers have this accusation that you spiritual people, whenever you look at the universe and come across something you can't understand, whenever you see some gap in scientific understanding, you immediately put God in there. It's called God of the gaps. There's something inexplicable about the cosmos, drag out God. Yeah, God did it. So they call that God of the gaps. I said, wait a minute. I was telling Dover. What they're doing is matter of the gaps. Whenever there's some doubt or some scientific mystery, matter did it. Matter is the ultimate cause of all causes. Matter explains everything. So I told them, take your pick. Some say God did everything. Others say matter did everything. But at least if you're going to side with Krishna, and of course knowledge of Krishna is beyond conceptions of God. If you're going to side with Krishna, you can see that Krishna offers you a process for experiencing what he's saying. Where is the process for experiencing that matter is the cause of all causes? That matter gives rise to life and consciousness. So from an objective point of view, you're so far ahead by accepting Krishna, because Krishna offers a process. Whereas materialistic knowledge, what process does it offer for verifying that matter is the cause of all causes? No process. Therefore, I told Toby, it's very religious. Faith. Matter can do it all. So an objective person will at least understand that although I don't know everything about Krishna, I'm not sure about Krishna, at least he's offering a process of verification. Whereas there is no process of verification offered that can show how matter gives rise to life, matter gives rise to consciousness. There's no process for even understanding where does matter come from. You just simply start from the middle, like you see a plane overhead in the sky, and you don't know where it took off from or where it's going to land, but I see a plane overhead. Just see how smart we are. So the Bhakti Yoga process means becoming more and more attracted to Krishna. And that's why we have all these activities here. We have all these activities just to give us a chance to serve Krishna and become more attracted. Whether it's working at the cafe, distributing books, or cooking here, cooking there, cleaning this, cleaning that, looking after this, looking after that, administering this or that. The whole point is to become more attracted to Krishna. So the bhakti yogi is more than just being metaphysical. More than just being spiritual. We want to get to the root of it all, the cause of it all. And we're understanding, and we have the opportunity to understand more and experience more, how Krishna is unlimitedly attractive. What a life. Be dedicated to that. And then when your attraction for Krishna starts to develop, you're able to help others. You have to start somewhere in your efforts to help others. Krishna will give you intelligence, how to touch others' heads and hearts, because bhakti involves both the head and the heart. This is what makes bhakti so special. There is information for your intelligence, and there is fulfillment for your heart. It's all going on at once. This chapter that you're studying is called The Characteristics of King Brahma. It's an allegory, an extended allegory that takes up a few chapters, as you know. Why the allegory? Because Narada Muni, who's speaking it, is expert. He's knowing that the king I'm speaking to is too absorbed in karmic activity for me to explain everything point blank. So I'm going to describe an extended metaphor, or allegory, that is. And I'll say that there once was a king named such and such, and he did this and that. Actually, Narada Muni's talking about the king's right in front of him, but he doesn't want to heavy him out straight away. Let me tell you a story. We can see amongst ourselves that sometimes we don't want to hear things straight out, right? Right? You don't want to hear it straight out. It's too intense. But still, someone who's expert knows how to make the point. And this is what Narada Muni's doing. He's explaining to the king the futility of material absorption. And the king will conclude at the end that, actually, it sounds like me who you're talking about. And he asks for explanation of the whole allegory, point by point. And Narada Muni will do that. So we may not be so expert to be able to construct a whole allegory like the Pranjana history. But based on what we know, we should repeat it. And that is effective outreach. We all have to start somewhere. Caring for others, cultivating others, building a community of bhakti yoga practitioners and supporters and sympathizers. I was explaining to some of you that yes, we want full practitioners. We want the commandos. Well, every army needs its supporters. So basically we're dealing with three types of persons. Those who will fully take up the bhakti process, become staff members. Those who will fully take up the bhakti process but live on their own and support themselves. And then sympathizers, supporters who may not have even any sadhana, but they like the whole idea, they like the community of devotees. And they want to feel like they have some relation to that. Like, Yeah, these are my people. This is my place. This is my scene. So we don't want to give persons the idea that it's all or nothing. Either you are a super surrendered soul or there's no space for you, there's no scope for you. We want to encourage everyone. Let everyone feel enlivened and feel appreciated. Yes, I'm a part of that Ty Krishna community. In this way, the influence of bhakti grows, the bhakti community expands. So we have to be able to deal with all types. The full-on bhakti practitioners, we can't shortchange them, we have to facilitate them. Those who have a full practice but live at home, and those who are just sympathizers, supporters. They may very well be the biggest group, and that's good. We want everyone to feel that they have opportunities, that they are appreciated, because people are so lonely today. I think I've explained before how social scientists describe that all this social media, which is supposed to bring everyone together, it's made people more lonely than ever before, because they don't have real warmth of exchanges via the internet, via the social media. It's all artificial. You get an artificial sense of togetherness and intimacy. So people are more lonely than ever in spite of all the hyper communication. They're lonely, they're looking for some niche that they can belong to, some enclave that's for real. So when they come in contact with you, they're sensing these people are for real. You may not be a master of the bhakti philosophy yet. You may just have 1 or 2 years of experience with your bhakti practice, but still, you can touch people's hearts. They can see you're trying to be for real. And that's very attractive to people. Authenticity is so rare these days. Everything is so phony these days. The politics is completely phony. The music is completely commercial. Everyone's a fake. And everyone expects that everyone's a fake. I know you're just faking, but still, you're kind of nice. I know you're just faking it, but I like hearing you say you love me. That's the way it is these days. Right? You're looking for a job, you get a job, and you promise, I will surrender completely to the boss. Yes, I will take this company, this enterprise as my all in all. Everyone knows you're faking, right? So, practically 24/7, you're just faking it. But people accept that as life, that's normal. So, what they sense in you is genuineness, authenticity. These people seem to be for real. They seem to really be into something that's genuine. And that attracts them. Of course, Krishna is the most authentic. Krishna's enjoyment is for real. Whereas our so-called independent enjoyment is all a fantasy. So what people are sensing in you is that you're in contact with real enjoyment. They don't know quite what it is, but they sense it. And of course we know the real enjoyment is Krishna's enjoyment. People are sensing that you're striving for something beyond your own enjoyment. What is it? And of course, a bhakti yogi means one who is striving to give pleasure to We're searching for Krishna's pleasure, hoping to have a chance to gratify Krishna's senses. So we want to build a community of bhakti yogis and bhakti yogi supporters. And as I said, most likely, if we're doing our job properly, the supporters will be more numerous than the actual practitioners. We need a solid core of dedicated practitioners, dedicated devotees. And around that core, there can be the whole world of supporters and sympathizers. We may do a little service here and there, come to a kirtan here and there, but they identify, these are our people. This is our group. And that way, Krishna's party expands. Not everyone is going to be able to understand everything immediately. But there'll be some elements that they're attracted to. There'll be some aspects of what we're doing that they're attracted to. So we just fan the flame. So we need devotees who can deal with the full spectrum, the full range of devotional candidates. And Krishna will gradually give the intelligence how to do that. The main thing is people sense that Krishna's devotees are authentic and real and genuine. Then gradually they start to become curious about what is the knowledge behind it all. Just like I was listening to Toby describe how he was just on an adventure tour to find himself hitchhiking through the UK. Then he met Gopal Roy and bought a book. Then a few hours later, he met Parjanya Gopal. He was intrigued. These people seem to be for real. Let me go to Wales, let me check it out. Tarkanath Prabhu told him, yeah, if you can stay, please just commit for 3 months. Okay, yeah. He was smart. He said, yeah, I don't know if this is for real or true or not, but I'll get into it and see what happens. I'll get into it based on the supposition that this could be true. I told him that's intelligent. Remember in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, where Srila Prabhupada writes that the best way to read Bhagavad Gita is to hypothetically accept that Krishna is Supreme Personality God, and then read. Have that supposition. Okay, I'll temporarily accept that this is true, and I'll turn the pages and see what happens. That's the best way to read Bhagavad Gita. Be scientific. Be experimental. All right? Temporarily, I'll accept the conclusion that Krishna is Supreme Personality God. And I'll turn the pages and see what happens. That's the best way to read. So he was telling me that was his attitude then. All right, I'll get into the chanting, I'll get into the whole regimen, I'll get into the whole season. Yeah. I mean, I was an atheist, coming from an atheist background, but hey, I'll give it a go. Yeah. Basically, he's gambling. He's doing the only legitimate gamble. He's throwing the dice on Krishna. And of course, if you gamble correctly on Krishna, you'll always win. So this is the only gamble that's allowed. Let me just try it. Let me do it. We'll see what happens. You gamble on Krishna, you execute the process of gambling on Krishna properly, you always win. You win huge. But you might have a fear. just like Toby could have a fear. All right. I roll the dice, I gamble on Krishna, I spend 3 months here. But what if it turns out none of it's true? It's all just religious mythology. It is all just imagination. Of course, that's not the case. But even if it were, and you lose the gamble, you've been losing all your life, so what's another loss? What's one more loss? You've been losing lifetime after lifetime. Of course, you will not lose gambling on Krishna. So even if Toby goes away after 3 months, and his time comes in October, he's trying to decide, should I return, should I not return? Even if he doesn't return, the credit, the devotional credit, will eternally remain in his spiritual bhakti bag. And he may return later in life. He may return in the next life. But the service he's done is not possible to erase. So this is how authentic, this is how genuine Krishna is and Krishna's service. About King Puranjana, this extended allegory is the history of one who tries to enjoy in a material body. That's what Puranjana means. One who enjoys or tries to enjoy within the body. It's that much you should understand. Today's verse is describing how Puranjana used to go to his private home with one of his chief servants. The chief servant was named Vishuddhina. That's a metaphor. He's, how do you say, trying to accomplish something by taking shelter of his mind. And the mind is named Vishuddhina, which actually means the wanderer. So he's taking shelter of his wandering mind. He's worshiping at the altar of his mind. And the mind, as described in the purport, is coupled with the intelligence. The intelligence should be ideally directing the mind to a higher purpose, but in material life, the intelligence is submerged within the mind. And therefore you're dominated by all kinds of sense perceptions, sensual perceptions, and there's no intelligence to sort all that out and urge you onward to a higher goal. So Puranjana is under the control of Vishuddhina, the wandering mind. Everyone knows what it's like, the wandering mind. Drags you here, drags you there. Sankalpa, vikalpa, acceptance and rejection, on and on and on. Making plans for material enjoyment and changing those plans. That's considered fun. Rather than you're realizing that you have to change your plans for material enjoyment because none of them ever fully satisfy you. Rather than realizing that, you just keep chopping and changing and think, I'm making progress. I've got a new plan. I'll travel to a new place. I'll change jobs. I'll change spouses. I'll change partners. Change, change, change in your endless quest for fulfillment that satisfies you. This is actually ignorance. But it's so complicated. It's hard to get to the bottom of it. So what you're dealing with when you interact with persons, what you're dealing with is the inability of the human being to get a grip on his or her own life. Try to understand that tragedy. It's horrible. They're so caught up and so entangled and so spread out here and there and dissipated. They're in disarray. And they can't get a grip on their own life and aim it in the best way. Their life is so splayed out. Like one devotee was telling me yesterday, I'm just a bundle of influences picked up from my external circumstances. That was a very smart realization. That's what material life is all about. You're just a reservoir of stuff that's been downloaded into you, and you call that yourself. So how can you be for real when you're just marching to songs that have been downloaded into you, streamed into you? Bhakti is a chance to be authentic and help others to be authentic. Helping others to be authentic, though, can be difficult. As Prabhupada writes here, to get even one living entity out of the illusory condition is very difficult. But remember what Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita. There's never one more dear to me, nor will there ever be one more dear to me than the one who tries to present my knowledge to others. So we want to become dear to Krishna. That's the quickest way to make spiritual advancement. That's the quickest way to be recognized by Krishna. To dedicate your life to giving Krishna to others. And of course, first you have to give Krishna to yourself. But the mystical thing is that while you're trying to give Krishna to others, you're also giving Krishna to yourself. Still, you have to take care to make sure you're sufficiently nourished. And then you'll increase that investment by giving Krishna to others. We are servants of Lord Chaitanya. He says the same thing as Krishna, because he is Krishna. Krishna says, surrender to me. Lord Chaitanya says, wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. That's the same thing. That's what Krishna says, surrender to me. So if you are concerned, how will I surrender to Krishna? Then, wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. And you are surrendering to Krishna. Briefly, let's discuss the coverings of the conditioned soul. How it is that you're trying to enjoy within a material body. We are all paranjana. So what happened? There are 5 coverings. The first step is tamishra, anger or envy. The original anger, the original envy. That's the start of it all. Why should Krishna be the only free enjoyer? Why can't I be an independent enjoyer? That's the start of our conditional life. Anger, envy, the two are close together. Krishna shouldn't be the only one. I should have my independent enjoyment. And that anger or envy can extend even into spiritual endeavors in which you want to become one with Krishna. In other words, you can't tolerate that you are subordinate to Krishna, even in your attempts in spiritual life Let me become one with the Supreme. We all are in this together. Krishna's an enjoyer, I'm an enjoyer. We're in it together as equals. So even in the attempt for spiritual life, people still maintain these angers and envies. Why should Krishna be the only independent enjoyer? Reminds me when, in my days of gradually coming to Krishna's service, I was reading the Krishna book, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I showed one of my acquaintances the book. And at that time, on one of the front pages of the book, it just said, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So I gave the book to my acquaintance, and the person opened the book, right to the first pages. Krishna, the supreme enjoyer. Like, that's our job. Who is this nonsense Krishna? Yeah, that's Dhamishra, the original anger or envy. And then this sequence, as described in the Bhagavatam, goes to Andhatamishra, denial that your life is going to continue. Just one life is all in all. You've got to go for it and squeeze every moment according to your conceptions of satisfaction, because you only get one chance. One body, one lifetime, one opportunity. And don't worry about reactions, because after death, that's it, it's finished. You got to do what you want to do fast before it's too late. So there's Dhamishra, anger, envy. Andhatamishra, denial of the continuation of life. This acceptance, this false acceptance of one life is all. And then tamas, ignorance. No understanding of a spiritual identity. Everything is the body and mind, physiology and psychology. So you see this ignorance, this tamas, covering the whole world. Even religious persons don't understand the difference between the body, the mind, and the self. Where can you get genuine knowledge of the spirit soul and the supreme soul? So Dhamishra, Andhatamishra, tamas. That lack of knowledge of the spirit soul, ignorance of the spirit soul, leads, of course, to material attachment, because you don't know anything better. And that material attachment leads to moha, illusion. Illusion means, based on the material attachment of tamas, because you have no spiritual knowledge, you start developing a whole network of family, neighborhood, community, society, nationality. There's moha, illusion. And you think it's progress. Look at the networks I have. Look at the connections I have. So the attachment has increased, so the networks, the false networks increase. And you think that those networks will protect. And they give you, those networks give you a false sense of identity. I am from this family, I am from this neighborhood, I am from this nationality. Even I am this species. And from that moha comes mahamoha, super illusion, super moha, in which, based on all that false networking that you've created, you just become feverish moving about between one part of the net and another part of the net. You become possessed, maddened by materialistic fever. That's Mahammoha. So these are the 5 coverings of the Paranjana, the one who tries to enjoy Vrindavan. So if we can understand those 5 realities, we can save ourselves a lot of trouble. We can get a grip on our life and see the madness that's driving us onward. And that madness begins with Dhamishra, anger or envy. Why should Krishna be the only free enjoyer, the only independent enjoyer?